Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. Great news, as always. We got new leadership. Yesterday, the 8th of March, we had I want to say a new RNC election. We got to take a little back into, but we're going to be basically talking about the Republican National Committee today. The GOP has got new leaders, and we've got the key weapon to our success, Michael Whatley. Now, Whatley is not really known, but he is a good, trustable ally because we know from his prior experience as the chairman of the North Carolina Republican Party, he actually does his job. He was the chairman of North Carolina from 2019 to 2024. And during this time, North Carolina received tons and tons of victories. Let's take a look at them. So we have 2020 North Carolina elections. Now, does this mean the chairman Whatley is going to win every race for the Republican Party? No. Whatley is human. He makes mistakes. But we can know that he knows how to fix them. Now, let's take a look at the presidential election of 2020. We see if it wasn't for Whatley's leadership, Biden most likely would have won the state of North Carolina. Whatley helped and his associates contacted North Carolina and saying, hey, you know what? Joe Biden, he's not in the state of mind. Donald Trump, we had a good functioning economy, and these Democrats want to get rid of him because for some reason they don't like his personality and they don't like the words he says, the language he uses, and that's just a cruddy reason. And so get out and vote. As you know, Trump didn't get us into wars. He basically helped getting people out and voting. Basically, polling stated that, guess what? Biden was supposed to win North Carolina. Take a look at all these polls. Look at all these polls from December, as you know, October of 2020. Most polls were taken were a Biden win. So yes, I find that very fascinating that Trump managed to pick up North Carolina by over a point, by the way, 15 electoral votes. And then there was the Senate election. Thom Tillis won this election thanks to the, as you know, chairman. Polls had him win by pretty much. This is the Republican primary. Excuse me, but we saw this was supposed to be a flip, and here Phyllis managed to win this election by less than a point, which was smaller than, as you know, the percentage that, as you know, Trump won. What also helped Tillis here is that it was reported that Cal Cunningham, had exchanged sexually suggestive messages with a married woman who was not his wife. This scandal helped boost Tillis in the said polls. Yeah, Democrats are pretty nice to women, aren't they? So, looking at executive offices, we see the gubernatorial election. This is the one race that the Republicans have lost. Rand Cooper, a pretty popular and well-accepted governor in the state of North Carolina. But I'm telling you, depending on the new leadership that you should know that the North Carolina Republican Party will receive, that will ultimately kind of determine that. But yeah, they give Democrats North Carolina a lot. They overestimate the Democrats in North Carolina, and almost all the time they lose. Before we move on, I want to take a look at the judicial elections in North Carolina, because this, as you know, were supposed to be a sweep for Democrats prior to the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Most North Carolinians preferred a government that, as you know, a Supreme Court that will protect women's right to choose. Ultimately, this was not the case. Richard Dietz was elected to the Supreme Court justice. He was initially, let's see here, he was supposed to win against Lucy Inman, which was interesting here. Trey Ellen won by a lot. Julie Tate Flood won from seat 8. And then there's Donna Straude. Then there's Tyson's seat, Court of Appeals. Mr. Tyson, I believe he ran for re-election, as it sees here, defeated Murray Adams. Yeah, Republicans nailed it in these elections. Prior to and supposedly Roe v. Wade was supposed to help them. It did not work in North Carolina. And North Carolina is a critical state where abortion can somewhat be banned or protected. And it seems like abortion was not a concern in the old Star State. So I don't want to make this video about North Carolina, but we're talking a lot about the new chairman and how good he is. He actually puts his constituents before himself. And this is what the problem with Ronna McDaniel was. She was too concerned about her family and herself. And she always had to defend herself. Vivek Ramaswamy pointed out great fire to Ronna McDaniel during the debate. With our defeat in 2023, it was frustrating, like seriously frustrating. Defeat, and Vivek voiced it. Ronna McDaniel wanted to pretend, oh, we did very good, we won Mississippi, but we won Louisiana, but we should have won Virginia. We should have done that, and the poll said we would have, and that was very frustrating. And that was thanks to Ronna McDaniel's poor fundraising. She goes, oh, but that's supposed to be the state GOP governor. Well, guess what? I don't know what the problem with the state Republican Party chairman of Virginia's problem was, but originally, Ronna McDaniel is supposed to be keeping him on track too. She's the main boss of everyone. And under this, I would say 7-year reign, this lady, absolutely, no one took her seriously. It's not our fault that no one took her seriously, but she is not a leader. And being the niece of Mitt Romney, who no one respects, by the way, Mitt Romney, he's like the scar on the Republican Party. If he ran for president again, he would lose by double digits. He would lose. He is a complete moron, and he might as well become an independent, and we will all celebrate. But yeah, no wonder we lost so much. We have his niece, as the leader of the committee. Duh! Now she's gone, thank goodness. Now we actually have new leaders. We have Mike Whatley, the former chairman, or who now retired chairman of the North Carolina Republican Party, now part of the RNC chairman. Laura Trump is the co-chair. Everyone was kind of cheerleading for her to be ultimately the said leader, but ultimately I would be a support for Laura Trump to be the RNC leader, help make the Republican Party more Trump-like and more in Trump's image. But I cannot deny Mike Whatley's successes. I cannot deny it. And ultimately, I'm hoping our party will come together and unite under Mr. Whatley's leadership. And Mr. Whatley, as he has been doing in North Carolina elections, I am really hoping that he would begin to start getting people out and voting. Get out and vote. And his office would actually start contacting state committees and their leaders to tell them, hey, tell your constituents, tell your voters, get out and vote. This is a critical election. Every election is a life saver. Every election is worth fighting for. And what Laura McDaniel, not Laura McDaniel, excuse me, another blunder, Ronna McDaniel, was basically saying and doing is she deprioritizes race. She like has a pyramid on which race matters. Statewide races, they don't matter. Yes, they do, because statewide races establish trifectas, and trifectas ultimately display your image as a party. So it's important that you get out and vote, that even RNC chairman and woman, whatever they'll be in the future, get out and contact those state leaders and tell them, hey, you know what? Get your constituents out and voting. Get your constituents, tell them to tell people to get out and vote. Get out and vote early, because here's the thing. Here's my criticism to the GOP. A lot of people say I haven't criticized the GOP too much. Here's my criticism. The GOP doesn't push early voting that much anymore. Why? Because we didn't like how Democrats equipped early voting as a way to stay home and to stop people from voting in, as you know, during the 2020 election, where there was massive COVID. We didn't like that. And so ever since then, I've met Republicans that say, no, I'm not early voting because it's liberal. It's not liberal. It's a strategy that every single party should be using. It's not liberal. The Democrats came up with it. Well, guess what? Honestly, I'm not a fan of early voting, but let's be honest. You don't know if you're going to be alive. You don't know you're going to be alive on election day. You have the opportunity to vote. What if you break your leg and you can't go and vote on election day? That's the price you pay. And now you screwed yourself over and you can't vote. That is what happens when you don't early vote. There goes one vote. And imagine so many other people that fall into that situation. How many people fall into unfortunate situations on election day? Whether it be death. I'm being very vague. But death, an accident, tragedy, let's just say you overslept, or your meeting was too long, you were too busy, your day was filled up, and you cannot make it to the polls. A snowstorm happened. So that's why it's important to vote early voting. We have Republicans saying it's far left, it's Marxist. No. Here's the thing. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a strategy that will help you win. And if you want to win, if you want to see change in government, early vote. Tell people to early vote. If you cannot see yourself voting on election day for any other reason, early vote. It's that simple. Go out, vote early, and you don't even have to leave. You don't even have to leave your house. I don't know if it's online or you get sent a form or something. But far as I know, voting on election day does not work for everyone. And this idea and concept that voting on election day everyone should vote on election day, I agree. Unless there's some American that can't get out of his or her house, I think maybe that American should be given a ballot from at home and then fill it in. But really, I think election day is when you all go to the polls and the polls are open. When we early vote, every day is election day. This defeats the purpose of election day. It's just a day when you get to go in person. Or we can call it results day, because really election day mostly happens when we finally get the results in. But ultimately, the overall results and overall performance of the GOP will change. And it looks like it has been. Guys, this is looking very good. Because Americans are showing up, Republicans are showing up at the polls, and they're voting. They're not staying home. They could stay home if they wanted to. They could stay home and say, you know what? Nikki Haley doesn't have a chance. She's going to withdraw. But it's that desire to have Trump. It's that desire to have Trump in office that's going to bring people to the polls. Jeez, look at how many people have showed up and voted in elections where Nikki Haley doesn't stand a chance. And seeing the trends in polling, Trump's supposed to win by 80%. Let's just stay home. People don't buy that. They show up and they vote. So I love that. That is good. We need that. So, what are your thoughts? Any other, as you know, any other suggestions? And as you know, any other suggestions and on how the GOP can better its game so it can take on the Democratic Party and win? We can get to their level and we can brawl us out. They want to fight us like a tyrant they are. We'll fight them. We'll play their game. We must play their game in order to win. And if we don't play their game back, and they want to play early voting, we play early voting. Because if they're the only ones playing the game, they win the game. That's how it goes. And no, I'm sorry, it's not fraud. It's not fraud when you don't play the game back. That's why you have to early vote. So start doing that. This chairman needs to start saying, get out and vote. Donald Trump needs to start pushing, go out and vote. Every single rally, he needs to start smacking hard. Go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. People listen to Trump. People like Trump. The Republican Party likes Trump, and they will do whatever he says. If Trump needs to say, go out and vote. Some people will go like, I don't want to go out and vote. Vote early, I should say. I don't want to vote early. No. And I don't care. And he should say, get out and vote. I don't care. Get out and vote. If you are truly loyal to my campaign, I'm telling you, you need to go out and vote. Push harder all these months and look at how much it has changed. The Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, old McConnell, and okay. Mitch McConnell, Mike Johnson need to do the same. They need to go to rallies, get out and vote, because they represent the party too. This is what we have to do. If we don't do this, then we clearly don't want to win. We just want to get money. And that's not what the GOP stands for. So what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next political episode.